Tonight on the WDW Fan Zone show, we've got the latest Walt Disney World news, and we've also got a bunch of questions on what you might be too embarrassed to ask about Walt Disney World or about your upcoming Disney trip. And we're going to answer those questions tonight. But first, let's get into it. Well, first, let me introduce everybody. We've got Kurt, Jess, John, Darlene, and I am Stuart. And if I didn't mention it before, this is the WDW Fan Zone show. And we're going to get into it right now with the latest news. Take it away, Jess.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. All right, I will start with the parks news today. The first Jollywood Nights date at Hollywood Studios has sold out, but there are many other dates available starting November 18th and ending December 20th. So make sure you get your tickets ASAP. All right, in food news, Gideon's Bakery was closed today for air conditioning issues. No reopening date has been scheduled, so beware when you go to Disney Springs. It might be tomorrow, it might be a couple days, so, give it some time. Disney Plus news. Disney Plus has canceled a few shows this week. The Spiderwick Chronicles, Doogie Kamaloha MD, and Nautilus. All right, in hotel resort news, Disney's Floral and Gifts is no longer offered. Now it's called Magical Floral and Gifts by Florida Fresh Floral, LLC. And they will now deliver gift baskets, flowers, or balloons to your resort for birthdays, engagements, and anniversaries, and of course, many more occasions. All right, and in other news, Destination D23 is from September 8th to September 10th at Disney's Contemporary Resort. It is currently sold out. However, on September 9th, the schedule shows park updates. So if you want to see those park updates, they will be live streamed at the Disney D23 YouTube channel, the Disney D23 Facebook page, or the website d23.com/destination D23. That is only on September 9th. That is not the other two dates as well. So check the schedule for the times for that as well. All right. And finally, for the news, the grand virtual reveal of the new ship on Unlocking the Disney Treasure Adventure awaits on board Disney's newest ship on the Disney Parks Blog website is now rescheduled for Tuesday, September 5th at 11 a.m. Eastern. They moved it because of Hurricane Idalia. So they wanted to make sure that, they had enough people, I guess, to watch it with power, right? All right, so that's it for the news. I will move on to park hours for Friday, September 1st. Oh, wow, we're in September already, aren't we? All right, so tomorrow, Friday, September 1st, there is a Halloween party at Magic Kingdom. It is the park hours from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And there is the party from 7 to 12. On Saturday and Sunday, the park is open from 9 until 10. They have changed the Halloween party from Tuesday to Monday for this week on Labor Day. So the park hours are actually from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then the party is from 7 to 12. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Epcot every day, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Disney's Hollywood Studios every day, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And Disney's Animal Kingdom on Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Typhoon Lagoon has some changes this week. So Typhoon Lagoon on Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And also Sunday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Blizzard Beach is currently closed for refurbishment. Boardwalk is open from 6:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. And Disney Springs on Friday and Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. And then Sunday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. And the weather. Expect highs in the high 80s and low 90s and lows in the mid 70s. There are some chances of rain and some partly sunny days, Sunday through Wednesday. That, of course, can change, so pack your ponchos and your sunscreen. And that'll do it for the news.
All right. Thank you, Jess. I know you're going to drop out now. Thank you. Great, spectacular newscast again.
Oh, thank you.
Enjoy the weekend and have a great rest of the week.
Everyone have a nice Labor Day too.
Yep.
See you
Happy holidays.
real soon.
Take care. All right. So tonight's topic are questions that you might be too embarrassed to ask when you go, about Disney World. And I scoured social media like Facebook and X, formerly known as Twitter, and a bunch of other places, and came up with questions where people got kind of berated for asking some of these questions. So I put a list together, and I figured, let's be the adults in the room and answer these questions properly for people who may not know any better and may want to know. And some of them I think are actually very good. Actually, there is no bad question. Every question is a good question. So we're going to get into that in a moment. But first, I do want to mention that if you're planning a Walt Disney World vacation, who better than to plan it with than Mouse Fan Travel? So whether you go on a Walt Disney World, Disneyland, taking a Disney cruise, going on an adventure by Disney, going someplace else, it could be that other park here in Florida, it could be a non-Disney vacation someplace else. Mouse Fan Travel's got you covered whenever you want to go, wherever you want to go, how you want to go. And you can find out all the great deals they've got going on right now by going to www.mousefantravel.com. That's www.mousefantravel.com. Oh, and please remember, if you're watching us on YouTube, to hit that like button and subscribe to the show. It really does help us out, and we greatly would appreciate it. Same thing on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you find us, Amazon Podcasts. We're all over the place. All right, so question 1. Is it worth it to get magic bands?
I say yes.
Has anybody else gotten magic bands?
I have.
I still have mine. And
now, are those the free ones you got from way back when?
No, the last one I think I bought was when we moved down here. They had a 2019 one to commemorate the year we moved down here about the house.
So for those who are hesitating getting a magic band, what would you tell them?
Well, the big thing with that would be if they're coming down and they want to have the extra magic of walking past some of the statues that talk to you and make noises and stuff, that's something that the kids enjoy. They get really excited when you see them hear that like voice of like the Mad Hatter or, the Cheshire Cat, they're excited about that stuff. Some parents just find it easier than pulling out a ticket every time they go to like get a lightning lane or what's the other one? Lightning lane and heavens to Betsy.
Lightning lane.
Yeah, lightning lane. I mean,
individual lightning lane or a regular lightning lane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your virtual queue thing, it's easier if they have a magic band. That's why those are the two main things. Parents, if they want to use it for charging to the room.
Also, if you do end up purchasing Genie Plus, if you have your magic band on when you go through the attractions, it'll take a photo in store for you. And I don't know how well that works with the phone.
Interesting. That'd be good to find out.
True.
All right, let's move on to the next question. If I leave the park midday, can I get back into the park later that same day? And you know what? I'm going to answer this question first. It depends on who you are. If you Darlene, no. If you anyone no. The answer is yes. You can get back into the park. Yeah, Darlene.
One thing I'm going to say is on a holiday like the 4th of July, Christmas, New Year's, even New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, you probably don't want to leave the park if you get into the park, because those days, those parks do fill to capacity
Yeah, they do.
because of the firework
Mm-hmm.
displays.
Yeah, well, that's true. If it's at capacity, and we don't know what the capacity is, there is no guarantee you'll get back in, but 99.9999999% you will get back in, except
Correct.
on
On
this.
a regular day.
Yeah.
Most people do. They will take a break in the middle of the day. So yeah, they want to go
Yeah.
back to the park.
Absolutely.
Well, right. And like Kurt says, to take a break, we've talked about this before. It could be in your best interest to take a break, to get away from the park, especially on hotter days, and not be there when it's the hottest, and not see people when they're so miserable, and not be so miserable yourself. Get some rest, get some relaxation, get some food, even take a nap or go to the pool, and then you'll be much more refreshed when you come back. So it's good to leave the park and come back in knowing that you can get back in.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very good. All right. Is it worth it to add the park hopper to my tickets?
I don't.
I think there was a time where it was very much so worth it, but with the costs the way they are now and the way the lines are, I think most people are better off if they can spend enough days in the parks. When I say enough days, at least 5 days. Don't do it. Just stay in the park you're in. Try to, if you have to use Genie Plus, it's like I still cringe when I hear how much they charge.
Unless you're doing something special, like if you're staying in a deluxe resort or a DVC resort, there are some parks that are open later for those situations.
Yep.
So if you're not in that park particularly, you might be able to go over there. Personally, from our experience, we didn't get much out of that anyways, that extra time.
Yeah.
We happened to be in a park on the day when it had those extra hours. You'll hit it then, for us, it's always just been easier to go back to the same park on the same day. Some people prefer to just go every night and eat at Epcot. That's up to them.
I think it depends on what you're looking for in terms of getting what you're looking for that day in terms of what you're trying to get out of the parks. If it's the attractions in one particular park where maybe you have a virtual queue in another park that you want to do a virtual queue in the other park, it may be worth it. I think it depends on everyone's individual situation. Like for Kurt and I think myself too, I would prefer not to do the park hopper and just go another day to another park. But you know what? That's right. It does cost a lot of money.
It depends on how many you're buying also. If you're only buying for 2 people, you might be able to just jump at that versus when I'm buying for 4 or 5, it's not worth it to us because half the time the kids are like, yeah, I don't want to go to a different park tonight. I'd rather just go to sleep.
Yeah. Now, is there anybody here, Darlene or John, that feel like the park hopper is worth it?
Well, I think it is very much depend upon your situation. Like you say, there's a lot of factors that go into it. How many days you're at the parks makes a difference. So if you're only there for 2 days, you have to pay the same amount for park hopper as if you're there for 8 days.
Yep, that's true.
And it depends on how you tour. Some people like to be in the same park all the time. Some people like the flexibility. How many times have you been to the parks before? I think it's one of those things you just have to look at your own situation. And yes, it's going to cost some extra, and you have to factor that in. But I think it can work either way, depending on your preferences and your particular vacation.
Right. Just please, for those who are watching us or listening to this, we're trying to give you the information, but we're also giving you our opinions. That our opinions are just that, our opinions. It doesn't make what we would do for ourselves what you should do for you.
Right.
All right. Now,
I personally like the flexibility. I mean, I don't like to have to pay for it, but I've been fortunate enough to have an annual pass for a number of years because I've been there enough days to make that worthwhile and cost less than if I had bought individual groups of tickets.
I have one thing to say on this. I know, like, when families come with young kids, it probably is good to not do it. But I did have my family down here, and they did opt to go back to Hollywood Studios on a day they were supposed to do Magic Kingdom because they wanted to ride the rides they didn't get to ride the first time. So it was good that they had the park hopper.
Yeah.
And what if your kids have a meltdown and they have to leave the park and
Or the parents having a meltdown.
Yeah, that too. It's a little bit more challenging, I think, to plan your trip and not be able to park hop, but it can certainly be done.
Yep. All right, let's move on to the next question. I love this question because there's so many facets to answer this. Why doesn't Disney have Fast Pass anymore?
There's a YouTube video that really breaks this down really great and explains it all.
Mm-hmm.
The initial premises was a great idea, and they just took it too far.
Yep.
So now it's just
do that.
It turned into a cash cow.
Yep.
Now, unfortunately, but it basically, the system started great, then the system was broken, and to fix it, they tried to create Genie Plus, and it's still broken, but now they're making money off of it. So
I'm going to make a bold prediction here. I think at some point in time, not in the near future, it will go away.
Because people will stop buying it.
Yeah. Or coming to the parks. Oh, wait a minute, they're doing that now.
Yeah.
I don't think people will stop buying it.
I don't either.
I think it's possible that Disney could bring the prices down a little bit if they're not selling as much of it as they'd like to. I think
just what they did.
I think there's a lot of variability there that they could adjust. I mean, they adjust it up when there's a high demand. They can certainly adjust it down too.
There's a reason why they lowered the price of it at Epcot and at Animal Kingdom. Those are the two parks we didn't use it because we can't justify paying $20 or $25. And lo and behold, last time I checked, it was like $18 at those two parks because people weren't buying it at those parks. They raised the price of the Magic Kingdom and they lowered the prices at those parks.
Yeah. And like you say, Stuart and Kurt, it's become a revenue stream for them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know Disney does not like to cut back on their revenue.
No, they don't.
So that's why I think it's very unlikely that they would drop it.
I agree.
I think it will happen at some point in the future because I think the company's going to restructure. And I'm talking way down the road. I'm not talking about next year or even 3 or 4 years from now. I think way down the road there will be a restructuring. I'm trying to hint that I think it's going to get sold at some point. And I think the restructuring will create different ways of thinking and make changes necessary to do things different that maybe we don't even know what those things could be at this point in time.
Current prices.
That's like saying a UFO is going to show up tomorrow.
Yeah, no kidding. Multiple parks in Magic Kingdom is 23 today. Epcot is 17. DHS is 21, and Animal Kingdom's only 15. So you can tell where people are using it and where people aren't using it.
Yeah. I think they have to find a way to make it worthwhile for people to use it. But I think the stigma with Genie Plus has become, I'm paying so much money to get in the parks, and now you want me to pay this to ride the rides? I can go to a park and walk around.
Yeah, I agree with that, Stuart. But also, if you have invested multiple $1,000s on your Disney World trip, and you're concerned that you're not going to get on enough attractions to make that worthwhile, do you want to throw that away for the cost of Genie Plus?
All right, well, let me put it to you this way: there are the average American family who may have been able to go to Disney on that one trip because of all the stimulus money they got for COVID, went and will not come back because of what they had to go through. And I'm going to let Darlene pick it up from there because it looks like she was headed that way.
Well, the big thing with Genie Plus and that is that they're paying so much money for it. And a lot of times the system does not work. Then they go back to guest relations and they complain for money back because they didn't get to ride all the rides that they wanted to ride. That's where we're having a problem too.
Mhm.
But that I
Well,
don't think that's stopping people from using it. Maybe some people,
No.
yes, but overall, by and large,
But you know what? It goes back to that age-old adage. You know, not
They should
against
just
Disney,
kept
the
the
pricing
fast pass
family.
system. Three things, wait in line, like everybody else has to.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, they're raising the prices for all the tickets, and the ticket prices are increasing. That always included your rides.
Yeah,
They didn't announce another ticket increase, did they?
they will. They haven't yet, but they will.
I think they might stall for a little bit here.
Yeah, but I think by August of next year, I think you'll see another price increase. It may
Well,
not
yeah,
happen in
by
February.
August next, I agree. By within a year or so.
Yeah, it may not happen in
But I
February.
like post-COVID, they were going up twice a year.
Yep.
And I don't think that's going to happen this year because I think they're pretty desperate to get people down there. I see a lot of commercials up here.
Oh, there's a lot
Come
down
to
here too.
Florida.
There's a lot of commercials down here.
well, but I think it's a fine line there. I wouldn't automatically say that they're desperate to get people in the parks. If
No, they're not.
if they are getting the return that they want the attendance to be less than it was because they want the positive experience. They want the people that are in. They want more money from the people that are there, but they want the positive experience.
But John, from talking to people, and I've spoken to a lot of people, family who's visiting, or friends who have family visiting them here, that experience, whether the parks are crowded or not, is not there anymore. That magical experience, because they're spending too much time waiting on lines. The parks may have less people in it this summer, but the lines are not reduced to the point where people are going, wow, we didn't have to wait that long. They're waiting over an hour for certain attractions. It's just not good.
Well, but my point was, where is there the incentive for Disney to want more people in the parks if they're making
All right, well,
if they're making their money? Why do they want more people in
if their goal was to get the 1%ers or the people who have money to come to the parks and freeze out people who, the average American family who can't afford it, they've done a great job.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting to run into the Star Wars hotel situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the question, though. The question is, do they want more people in the parks than what they have now?
But they're getting what they want. They're getting less people, and they're still not getting happy customers. Some people are. Don't get me wrong. I'm generalizing this. It's not everybody. Look, I love Disney. We all love Disney. That's why we're doing the show. I just think
I'm looking at the line times right now for the attractions.
Well, it's also after hours.
Is it after hours now? That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I wasn't talking to, how long people are waiting in lines. I was just talking to.
Well, that's part of the experience.
I was talking to whether Disney wants more people in the parks. That was
all right. The answer to that is no, they don't. To a certain point, they don't.
Well,
and they're getting what they asked for, but the problem is the guests are not getting what they are paid for.
And all I'm saying is that's a different topic.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Next
Sorry,
question.
John, I didn't mean to. Where was I here? Okay, it's another good one. What happened to Magical Express? It's gone.
The contract.
Yep.
The contract is up. They did not renew the contract.
Done. The contract was done. Yeah. And so now we have, everybody, a lot of people were getting upset because they didn't want to get on a bus. They didn't want to wait. They didn't want to go to the, airport an extra 2 hours and 3 hours before their flight to make sure they got there. They wanted, so then, and Lyft came into it, and what's the other? Uber came into it.
And
the mini cars.
Yeah, the mini cars came into it.
Well, so the demand was lessened because of those other options.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I'm sorry, it was also a cost-cutting means. If they
Oh, sure.
was.
Yeah, that's another factor.
right, it was a free service
Which-
to guests, and it's no longer there.
Right.
Well, but it made it harder for Disney to say that it was worthwhile to do it if there's lesser demand for it.
All right. Is Magic Kingdom the only park for young children? That clearly had to be someone who's never been to Walt Disney World.
My favorite is I don't want to go to Walt Disney World because that's just for little kids.
Yep. But that's not the question. The question is, is Magic Kingdom the only park for young children? The answer clearly is no.
No.
I think whoever asked that question, I think people should have been kinder to this person, but, do a little research. Yeah, I'm not one who says watch YouTube videos of attractions and parks, but in a case where someone may have that mentality, you might want to look at some videos of Epcot, Disney's Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom especially. I think Animal Kingdom is great for young children and old folks too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you just said on the park bench and people watch.
Yeah.
You old folks.
Yeah, there used to be a show called Laughing with Artie Johnson playing an old man and Ruth Buzzy playing a woman. She would just like club him over the head with her pocketbook.
Laughing.
Side remark. And they were probably at Disney World sitting there and watching people.
Well, but Disney goes out of their way to make all the parks accessible to all ages.
Correct.
Yeah. So there may be, there are not as many attractions in the other parks as there are in the Magic Kingdom, but there are still lots of experiences and entertainment and
Character
food.
meet and greets.
Yeah, and the characters. Yeah, so
Epcot, you have at least 2 boat rides.
Well, there's a reason why they created the Kid Cot.
Yeah.
I was there that first year when Epcot opened, and I kept looking around going, this is kind of boring as a little kid. I'm like, I don't get it. I liked Future World because I really liked the World of Motion and those attractions and stuff. But like, where's the characters? They weren't there. They had to make it more appealing to kids, which they did.
Yeah.
And yes, we do need some new rides at Hollywood Studios to make it more kid friendly. A lot of kids don't like riding, roller coasters or spinny things, but they do have quite a few for them. So I'd like to see them do something with that. Like I said before, the mermaid section where they took out the Journey of the Little Mermaid.
That whole corner is dead. The Playhouse Disney's not there anymore. That's not there.
Yeah.
The animation studio's not there.
That was one of the places there were always lines for those characters. So they really need to put something in there.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what that something is, but they've got to do something. I think Hollywood Studios, we did a whole show on it some months back.
Mm-hmm.
It's lacking quite a bit at this point in time.
Yeah. Well, and Kurt said it's evidenced by, now not Hollywood Studios necessarily, but if you look at the fact that Genie Plus is not the same, they're trying to pull people to some of the parks by lowering the Genie Plus price. I think Hollywood Studios is popular enough, but maybe not so much for the younger kids. I mean, there's things for them, but certainly not as much as in the Magic Kingdom or maybe Animal Kingdom.
Yeah. I mean, if you go into Toy Story Land, it's mobbed with kids.
Yeah, but
there's no sun. There's no shade from the sun there.
Yeah.
Just those little umbrellas.
Yeah. Here's a good question. How should I dress at Disney World? Preferably with clothing.
Oh.
No, but seriously, how should somebody dress at Disney World? I think 90% of the time you're going to be in a t-shirt and shorts or something comfortable.
I'm not supposed to bring my tuxedo?
I've seen
Only
women
if
walking
you're
around.
going to Victoria and Albert's do you need a nice suit and a dressy dress.
You have to have a suit and a tie.
Yes.
and a dress. Yes, but
Yes.
I would never go to Victoria and Albert's. That's just not my style. Like
We're
Stuart
talking
said, when you're
about
on vacation,
We're
you're right.
talking about our
Right.
listeners, not
When,
you.
when you're on vacation, when I go on vacation, I just want to relax.
Yep.
Like
Right.
Stuart said, t-shirt, shorts. If you absolutely feel like you need to bring a polo shirt for somewhere not quite Victoria and Albert's, there you go. Maybe
Yeah.
khaki pants, but
And don't think because it's hot here, you don't need like a sweatshirt, because sometimes when you go into a restaurant, the air conditioning is very high. So you might want a sweater or a sweatshirt to wear.
I agree with Darlene there.
I'm like Stuart though. Then the rest of the time I'm carrying it around my waist and sweating like crazy from
If you're
carrying
cold-blooded like Darlene and John, yeah, then you might need a sweatshirt.
Well, but the important note, as you said, is to be comfortable.
Yes.
And so you need to know what makes you comfortable. What you have to be aware.
It's very true.
It's going to, most of the times in Florida, it's going to be hot outside unless, it's raining or it's the middle of January. But there are places where it can be pretty cold too. And so you need to know yourself what makes you comfortable.
Now,
what makes Stuart and I comfortable is that ice cream sundae for dessert.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now, I have seen.
Just don't wear it.
I've seen both men and women dressed at Walt Disney World inappropriately, where like 10, 20 years ago, that never would have happened. And now you're seeing more and more of it. And by that, I mean, it's like they're leaving very little to the imagination.
Yeah.
And these are not people who are coming alone. In many cases, they have young children with them.
It's a family park.
Yeah. And they're coming with their family. That's what I don't get. And their children. And they're showing their children this is okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're not in Las Vegas. You're in Disney.
That's what I was going to say. When you're dressed for Vegas and you're walking around the park with your little kid and you're falling out of your top, I don't know. I don't know. Especially when it rains every afternoon.
Preferably shoes that are you're got broken in.
All right, next question. Do the parks or any attractions close when it rains?
Yes.
Not all
any of the outdoor attractions will be closed during the rain. If there's a thunderstorm.
Roller coaster, yeah.
Have you ever seen, other than a hurricane, have you ever seen a park close due to weather?
No.
COVID.
Weather.
He specifically said weather. No, I have actually been on the train when they told us you need to leave this area now. And we're like, well, it's pouring down rain. Where do you want us to go? And they were letting us know that because there was a tornado within 5 miles of the area.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're on the train depot, you're like at one of the highest spots in the area, and especially Frontierland. So, but they tell you need to leave for your own safety. They mean it.
Yep.
Yes.
They just don't want to scare you more.
They have a great way.
Found out on the news that night. Yeah.
Yeah, they have a great way of ushering people out for their own safety.
Anything to resort wise, anything that is between the boat service to Disney Springs or to Magic Kingdom, the Skyliner, all of that shuts down if there's lightning in the area too.
My suggestion would be
just rain, lightning.
Yeah, that's true. Lightning will, definitely lightning, because that's that can cause damage and death. My suggestion would be for anybody who's caught in the park during a heavy rain shower is find cover somewhere and wait it out. There may be some attractions that will be closed for a short period of time, and I stress short period of time, because as soon as that rain lifts, the attractions reopen.
Right.
They've had to evacuate people for Run Disney events in the past, where they have everybody gathered near the starting line and lightning comes in.
Yep.
And they've had to get people out of that area under covers, it's a big deal to have to move a few thousand or several thousand people all of a sudden.
Didn't you have to at one point run you got the option to run the race at another time because of weather through Boardwalk or something. After it like cleared up, they couldn't really start the race.
Well, there were people. I forget what year it was. That there were people. They canceled the half marathon. I was there and I was scheduled to run the half marathon. They had to cancel the half marathon because of lightning, and they were able to do it before people came. They canceled the half marathon and they gave you a choice of going to another half marathon at another event, or some free park passes of some sort, or gift cards, or going and running the marathon the next day, which is actually what I ended up doing, because I needed to run a race because I was going to be running in Disneyland. It was the last Disneyland race before they canceled it and later restarted it recently.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, they are going to be starting it. Well, I'm getting confused. But anyway, so I had to run the marathon the next day so that I could get my coast to coast medal with the Disneyland race. But yeah, they did cancel it one time, and they've shortened it, and they've delayed it. They've had a number of situations related to lightning, like you say.
Yeah.
All right, now the next question. I don't remember who sent this question or who had this question out there, but I swear it wasn't Becky who asked it.
Uh-oh.
Where are the best places at Disney World to escape from all the children? A bar.
Yeah, I was going to say a lounge usually.
Yeah,
A
the
lounge.
Nomad Lounge.
Hall of Presidents.
Yeah.
Carousel of Progress.
That's where they're going for their nap.
So-called.
Oh,
Definitely not Mickey's PhilharMagic.
There are not a lot of kids in Olga's Canteen.
Right. No,
There are
there's
some.
No.
Not a lot.
or not. That's true.
no.
Well, Victoria and Albert's.
Oh, true,
Yeah.
true. A lot of the deluxe, I would call them deluxe restaurants, like California Grill.
Fine dining.
Yeah, the finer dining. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which attractions are scary for adults? Now I can think of one.
It's a
and
small
only
world.
because I've heard. Yeah.
No.
Now Dinosaur. I've heard more complaints from adults on Dinosaur than any other attraction.
Really?
More than
Really?
Terror.
I'm just glad Aliens is gone.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, I
no,
love that attraction.
I loved it too.
Bring
Such
it
a
back.
Great Escape would have been mine, but yeah. I don't think there really are many. Like I said, Dinosaur, and it's for different reasons because they get jostled too much in their
Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster.
That's scary. Those aren't scary for me. It's my
I don't see them
vertigo.
being
I
that.
can't do them anymore.
Tower of Terror I could see being scary. Rock and Roller Coaster,
It's the one roller coaster that goes upside down in the park.
yeah, it is. Made me nauseous.
Well, yeah. It depends on what you mean by scared. I mean, neither Stuart nor I are going to do Cosmic Rewind.
Right.
Right.
Beyond the one time that I did it, but
Yeah, I've never done it.
Yeah,
No.
I want to do it again, but I don't know if I could.
I think the answer is there really are no scary rides at Disney World. It's knowing what the attraction is about and knowing what what your tolerance for that attraction will be.
right.
That Tron Light Cycle, you get launched there pretty quick. So you got to really trust yourself that you're locked in and that you're not going to fall out.
Yeah. Well, so that's
Right.
that is such a tough question, and it varies so much from individual to individual.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For any given attraction, can you ride it or can't you? Will you be comfortable riding it or won't you? And
Mhm.
I mean, there are attractions that I can't ride, but then there's attractions that I can ride that others won't ride.
Exactly. I can
Right.
do Star Tours, but Michelle can't.
Really?
Yeah, which is crazy because I can't anything with motion. I really can't do, but that I can do.
Yeah, that's one I can do.
I can
And
do
Michelle
Mission
can do things
I
with
can do
motion.
Mission Space Orange, but I can't do Tower of Terror anymore. I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah, I can't do it anymore, but it's for because of the number of drops.
The number of drops, yeah.
Right, I can take 2, maybe 3, but I don't give me 4.
But I can do the spinning of Mission Space. But I can do the spinning of Mission Space, but I can't do Cosmic Rewind with the gentle turns.
Because you're looking in the wrong area. Because that's what I did wrong.
But that's the thing is everybody is different.
How are you on the People Mover, John?
I wish I were there right now.
You know what? Some people might get scared on the Jungle Cruise for God knows what reason. You just don't know.
For the snake in the tree.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. If you've got fears to a certain type of insect, animal, or creature, there might be certain things you might be afraid of. But know that before you go on the attraction.
Right.
Or know about
Tower of Terror eliminated a lot of the fear when they got rid of that bar. Because that bar, I literally left the seat and was holding on for dear life the first time I rode it.
Bar.
My wife will not ride it again. We were seated next to someone that kept the bar coming anywhere close to us. And we felt unsafe. We thought we were coming out of it. We did. We left the seat. We were holding out. It's the only time I've ever screamed in my life. Went back with friends about 10 years later. They have all seatbelts now. You're locked in place firmer. I felt 100 times safer. I could ride it again.
Yeah. Well, it's because it was going down faster than the speed.
Oh, yeah.
Faster than the speed of gravity. So your body's following gravity, and it's going down faster than you are.
Yeah, but there was the bar, when the bar's out here instead of against my belly.
Yeah.
Then you're not, you feel like we left the seat.
Yeah.
And I thought if my legs could bend a little bit more, I would have.
Well, yeah, it was designed that way.
Yeah, and I'm glad they changed that.
Yeah.
Because I would not take a little kid on that attraction.
No.
Because they would fall out.
Remember I said that there was no such thing as a dumb question or a bad question?
Shoot it towards us. What time's the 3:00 parade?
Yeah, I forgot about this one. I was wrong. The person who asked this question is a true Nimrod.
Okay.
And I will let you know what the question is. And just think about it. If you're a responsible parent, you'll understand why I'm saying this. Is it safe to put lifts in my children's shoes to meet attraction height requirements? You freaking dumbass.
We just gave an example of why not to do that.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Absolutely not. You're putting your child in danger.
Mm-hmm. Those restrictions are there for a reason. Do not do it.
All right, let's get back to better questions. I forgot about that one. I purposely put that one in here because I just couldn't believe somebody actually asked that question. Is Disney World safe? I think it's one of the safest places in the entire universe. Or world.
You have to know your surroundings.
Correct.
You need to know your surroundings, where you are. It is very safe.
It is. I can tell you right now, security, you don't know they're there. They're everywhere. If your child moves a foot away from you, guess what? Somebody's watching to make sure you're not that far away from your child.
Now, you don't know who a security officer could be. They're in plain clothes and stuff. So
the cameras are hidden. They have hidden
they're
cameras
everywhere.
And they're constantly watching everything that goes on in that park.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. Are resort restaurants only for resort guests?
No. I think we talked about that last week.
I think we did.
Because we resort hopped from the Contemporary over by Wilderness Lodge so that we could eat.
Right. So if you're staying off property or you live in Florida, you can go to a resort, make a reservation.
Exactly. You can go to a resort. You can go, anywhere.
Now, I've got a question here. If you're not staying on property and you want to eat and your car's not parked at one of the parks, and you want to drive to a resort to have lunch at what can I think? The Kona Cafe, which does not need, or a place that does not need reservations. Will they let you in? I know the answer to this, but I'm going to let you guys.
It depends on the time of year. It depends on the resort availability at that time. There are times that I've gone to try to get in and you cannot get in.
Right. What I would suggest for people who are not going to the parks but want to eat at a resort and not at a sit down, just to go to a quick service, park at Disney Springs and take transportation over to the resort.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on the guard
Or
sometimes
if you
too.
place a mobile order that you've paid for via phone,
Ooh,
have
good
your
idea.
mobile order ready.
Right. I had that's what I had to do.
Yes.
We talked about this last week, and they literally said they clicked it and said you are here now. So in other words, you couldn't like cancel it the last minute just to get
Correct.
into the park. Boom, clicked it. Now you can go in and get your food.
Yeah, that's a
Yes.
great idea, Darlene, or a great tip for those who want to do that. Can you bring food into the parks?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You can also bring food from one restaurant to another restaurant because they're all Disney
Yes.
restaurants.
Yep.
They will allow you to bring in food from one quick service to another quick service.
And you can bring water and you can walk in with a coffee if you want from Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. That's fine. The only thing you cannot bring in any form of bottle, including baby bottles, is alcohol.
Yep.
It's just orange juice. I don't know what you're talking about. That foams.
All right. What are comfortable shoes to wear in the parks? Not high heels.
Sneakers.
Yeah.
Nike Air Pegasi.
I would suggest you don't wear brand new sneakers, although I've done it. Wear sneakers that are broken in, that are very comfortable, that you can walk with. I like to wear running shoes in the parks. Not that I'm running anywhere.
Right.
It gives me more padding underneath.
Here's a warning with that. So I bought a pair of shoes. I got them dirt cheap. So I'm like, oh, let me try them. They feel good. They had the foam insoles. There's a certain brand that really talks about how great the memory foam is. Remember I talked about being trapped up there on the train station during the downpour and the deluge? When we walked down, we had to walk through puddles that were easily 2 foot deep. By the time we got to the front and those shoes dried a couple days later, yeah, those memory foams were destroyed.
Wow.
The shoes were no good anymore.
Yeah,
So
can happen.
just FYI with that.
I prefer to wear I wear sneakers, Skechers. I know my daughter likes to wear the Toms, she will wear Birkenstocks and stuff too. It depends on what your feet are comfortable in is the big thing. But I'm going to tell you, high heels on a day for the parks, even like wedges or something, are not a good thing to wear.
I've seen people wearing sandals in the park, and it's like
Flip-flops.
Crocs. It might be comfortable for a while, but not for a whole day.
Yeah, if I'm going for just like a concert, that's one thing.
Right. If you
just and not walking around, but yeah.
Well, you say that, but if you're going for a concert, you're walking over a mile to get back there.
You are, but like I'm not spending the whole day in the park.
Right, you're not right.
No, my feet can't handle it.
And they're usually at night, so the weather is not as warm and the sun's not bearing down on you as much or for as long. Do I need to make a reservation for character meet and greets? Depends.
They still do Genie Plus with that, I believe.
I think I think that's on
for some
Genie
of them.
Plus now.
Yeah. Sometimes the best character meet and greets are the unexpected ones where you happen to just be in the right place at the right time when a certain princess or a certain character is walking by.
Yep.
When is the least crowded time to go to Walt Disney World? Right now, because it's closed.
What is the least favorite time to go to Disney World?
What is the least crowded time?
To
Walt Disney World? I don't think there is one anymore.
There really isn't.
I would say after like the first couple of weeks in September after Labor Day.
I would say a week or two before or after a holiday.
I would say right now during the hurricane, as the hurricane didn't hit there, and the parks were relatively empty. Do I want to roll the dice that it's not going to hit there and you're going to be locked in your room? I will say that what they will do during hurricane season, though, because they do have a lot of people that cancel. They offer up those rooms for locals who are like on the Gulf Coast at a very reasonable price. And people will go. They don't want you going to Georgia. They're like, you don't need to go there. But if you go over to those resorts, it makes things a lot easier. And there's going to be people there to help you out, and there's going to be food.
Do you know there are some people that like to hop on a cruise when they know a hurricane is coming? And do you know why? Because they know the cruise ship is going to take them out of the way of the hurricane.
Yeah.
And they're guaranteed food.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, we're getting down to the last few questions here. Do Disney World tickets have an expiration date, and are they refundable?
I don't believe they're refundable.
I don't believe they're refundable.
No, they got rid of that. They used to have something like that. I think maybe not.
Normally 7 days, depending on your length of stay, 7 to 14 days you get on your tickets once
Right,
you
and
scan
Yeah,
them.
once you activate,
you're specifically buying tickets for the time that you're going.
Yeah.
Correct.
So if something changes, they won't refund you, but they'll allow you to change the
value.
dates.
Yeah, they'll exchange them.
Yeah.
Not exchange them, but you're right. Change the dates.
And then you got to pay the difference.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which that is different from the way it used to be.
Right.
You used to be able to hold on to tickets, and so long as it was the same parks were there, you could use the ticket you had from 15 years ago.
Yeah. They used to have no expiration dates on
Yeah,
them.
but not so anymore.
No.
Nope.
And you know what? That's one of the things I don't blame Disney for changing, because you could buy tickets. You know what? We're going to come back in 3 years. Let's buy it now and save some money. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, there's
A lot of people probably tried doing that.
there's no longer treating Disney tickets as an investment,
Correct.
where you expect them to appreciate in value.
Yep.
They didn't they used to have, it was like $1,200 or something. This was back in the 70s, where you could buy a lifetime ticket, but it was only when Magic Kingdom and Epcot were around. So now you could still use them in those two parks, but you can't use them in
Right.
the newer parks, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't remember, but my age, I'm lucky if I remember what day it is. Can I give my unused Disney World tickets to a friend?
No.
No.
No. They will hunt you down, and they will take them away from you if you try to do that. And they'll arrest your friend. All right,
Non-transferable.
yeah, that's right. Right. It's right on the ticket. Non-transferable. All right, we're down to the final question. The last one. This is it.
This
we're
is
done
it.
after this. Yeah. At what age are children old enough to go to Disney World? I
That's
wish
a
Jess was
personal
here, because
preference.
Jess had her last child, or her most recent child, not recently, within a year or so. Within a couple of months, that child was in the parks with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of my older son was in the park before his first birthday.
Yeah. People have had, I'm sure there are people that have infants in there within their first week of birth.
Yeah, I think a large part of the reason people are taking infants is because they have other children that are young, but old enough to enjoy what's going on in the parks. So the infant's just along for the ride. But I have seen parents in there with no other children but an infant because they love Disney.
Yeah.
I think if they can handle and they can deal with it, good for them. I would never do something like that, but it's a personal preference for me. I do it for them.
Honestly, when our kids were that young, and I worked with people that were like, "Aren't your kids aren't going to remember it?" I'm like, "Yeah, they're along for the ride.
Yeah,
they're along because we're going, and we just do the baby swap."
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people just want to see their child's face for the first time that they take them. I took my daughter to Disneyland when she was 1.5 years old.
Yeah, Haley went when she was 2, just 2.
Yeah.
And
it was her seeing Mickey Mouse, her being with Donald Duck, and it was fun for me and the family to see her first experience.
You know, my best memories in the parks are when my kids were small and seeing their reactions to everything.
Right.
It's seeing the parks through your children's eyes. There's nothing greater than that. It's the most amazing thing in the world.
Seeing her face when she was 10 when we went to Walt Disney World was amazing too.
You know what? It's
Yep.
My wife's first trip was when she was 23. It still is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It still is amazing.
I still get excited to have my picture taken with Snow White. Because she's one of my favorite characters, you know.
So,
All right. That is almost going to do it for us this week. I want to remind everybody that it was on this day in Disney history, because we've been talking a lot about hurricanes tonight. It was on August 31st, 1985, that Walt Disney World closed at 5 p.m. due to Hurricane Elena, which was moving closer and closer to the Orlando area. But luckily, it spared Disney World. And that will do it for us this week. We will be back next week with another show. And we hope you have a great week, rest of the week, great weekend, a great Labor Day holiday. And until next time, everybody, be safe. Always be yourself. Bye-bye.
good night, everybody.
I'm going to turn the tables on you here. So you were asking us all these questions. And so I'm going to ask you, is there one quick song clip you would like to hear, or would you like me to just sign off?
Sign off.
Okay.
You didn't like say that. Oh, God.
Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I was thinking great, yeah.
Well, so for all of you down in Florida, and having to have done dealt with Idalia, we say, and we wish for you that there's a great big beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of every day, and hopefully today. We hope that today was good. Tomorrow will be better, and we'll see you next week.
Have a magical night. Stay safe. Pack your sunscreen and a rain jacket.